Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to another low effort, low stakes video in which I will go over some of my favorite things that I'm currently obsessed with or have been obsessed with. So if you aren't new to the channel, I have made a few videos talking about some of my favorite books of all time. But I haven't really necessarily talked about some of my other favorite things. I was sort of inspired with this video idea from two creatives. First is Anna. I love Anna. Just love how eloquent, effortless, and just cathartic her videos are. And also the other creator, Sean. Sean is hilarious and funny. Check both of them out. I'll leave links to the channels down below. And in both videos, they just essentially talked about what they were currently obsessed with, their favorites, their favorite movies, TV shows, jewelry, basically everything that is non-bookish. I haven't done something non-bookish in who knows how long. It's pretty chill, pretty chatty. Grab a snack, sit down, and let's get into it. And let's just start here at our home base on YouTube. So when it comes to YouTube in general, as a person who is in the bookish community, in the bookish space, I actually do not watch a lot of bookish content in general. I am subscribed to a ton of people, you know, gotta support my fellow creatives out there. But as far as watching bookish content in general, that has pretty much died down in the past couple of years, unless it's like a specific type of video. So some of my favorite YouTube videos to watch currently is pretty much aligned with this type of vibe right here, where it's pretty low effort, low stakes. The camera quality isn't like 4K, huge production, all that, you know, simple, minimal. It's mostly like commentaries, reactions, and vlogs. Like when Cindy and I are together, we try to react to certain movies or series or shows. You know, that was really fun. I really enjoyed doing that. And after commentaries and all that were album reactions, like album music reactions. I always like, especially when the K-pop video has come out from like a K-pop group like Blackpink or La Seraphim, I always tend to scour YouTube and, you know, what are other people's reactions to these types of videos or music? How do they feel? And I guess this leads into the third topic of the videos that I watch, and those are vlogs. I love vlogs. I feel like at this point, almost everyone I know is somewhat of a content creator in their own little way. I love watching smaller creators especially. I don't know, there's just like this new, fresh, unique take that a lot of smaller creators have. You know, filming in a certain way that isn't like in 4K, in like super high def quality. Those are great too, don't get me wrong, like the production goes a long way, but there's just something more personal and intimate with some of these vlogs that I, you know, kind of get inspired by, that I want to do with vlogging in general, which sort of leads into my segue that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. You know, so as you're all well aware, as I said earlier, watching smaller creators vlogging, you know, a day in their life, you know, taking me along a week, going to the grocery store, going to the bookstore and all that. I love seeing that. You know, I get inspired. And what better way than to introduce Skillshare to this mix? Skillshare is friends of this channel, partnered with them before. Skillshare is basically an amazing online community where creatives come together, creating classes by creatives for creatives. They have hundreds and thousands of classes ranging from film, illustration, animation, design. It's a great place if you have the itch to learn something new or even finding a new hobby for yourself. So I want to highlight this creator and their class that I took, and it's none other than Carrie from Carrie Cakes or Carrie Can Read. And speaking of vlogging, Carrie, she's a queen of vlogging. They're just always so chill. They have a really great vibe. Love the lifestyle vlogs, love the bookish vlogs. So Carrie has a couple of classes where in one of them, she's teaching you how to vlog, how to set the tone, what to do and all that. Music, editing, when to come in at the proper time, what to implement. Every time she posts a new vlog, I'm like so inspired. I want to emulate the same feeling, the same vibe, you know? And secondly, she also has the perfect class if you're even thinking or wanting to start to be a YouTuber. She has really great tips and insight on just being a YouTuber in general, like behind the scenes, expenses, editing, and all that. So highly recommend their classes if you are, you know, a new creator, you know, wanting to start, not knowing where to start or how to start. Well, there you go. You can take Carrie's classes on Skillshare using my link and code down below. Skillshare is offering a 1-month free trial for the first 500 people who click on the link down below. If you haven't started creating yet, you really want to, and you want to prioritize this year and concentrate your skills into something new, something fresh, or just something as a hobby, well then welcome to Skillshare, the perfect community for you. Once again, everything is linked down below, and thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So with that segment being said and done, that is what I primarily am focused on YouTube in general these days. I actually don't watch a lot of YouTube aside from a few vlogs here and there from some creators, reaction, and commentaries. I want to talk about some of the movies I've seen this year because they were astounding. They were great. The first one up being Mickey 17. Mickey 17, Mickey 18. I was someone who, honestly, this is just my opinion, okay? Objectively never found Robert Pattinson to be attractive. Tell me why. Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, after the movie, I was like, I went feral. Like, I went on Twitter, TikTok edits, everything. Screenshot download. There it is. Digital footprint. Who is she? I don't know. It's like even Robert Pattinson playing a character, playing Batman, that didn't really do anything for me. I mean, it did something. I was like, okay, I see your vision. I like this dark, gothic, brooding Batman character. But something about Mickey 17 and Mickey 18. Mickey 18. But that movie was great. I really liked the story, just the characters, the elements of just like sci-fi and how the story was told and progressed in a way. Really loved it. Highly recommend. Really sexy too. Super sexy. And speaking of super sexy, oh my god, have you guys seen Sinners? Because if you haven't, click this video off, go buy your ticket, and go watch it in 70mm IMAX, because that is the only correct way to watch this movie. The journey that I went on watching this phenomenal movie. It was just so different. The genre blending of just soul and horror and history, and it was just amazing. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. I have already booked my second ticket for a second viewing. I love horror. Horror is literally my favorite element to watch in movies, specifically slashers. So this year, I really enjoyed this movie called Hard Eyes. I watched it previously a couple months ago for my birthday. It was really fun. I feel like it kind of went under the radar just a little bit, but I think it'll be like a cult classic in the near future. Just one of those slashers. I feel like slashers do not get enough credit. Horror in general. Yes, are some really great horror movies that have come out, but I feel like horror in itself have been a little underrated until recently, like Sinners. That movie was so hot, so sexy, brilliant, amazing, 10 out of 10. Please go watch it. Now we're gonna get into a little segue, and let me check my Letterboxd. Love Letterboxd. You should follow me on Letterboxd. I'll leave it linked somewhere down below. Top favorite movies of all time. Number 1, Howl's Moving Castle. I absolutely love Studio Ghibli. I mean, who doesn't? If you hate Studio Ghibli, I feel like you're a troll. You hate humans in general. I feel like I have a really special connection to Howl's Moving Castle because I read the book before the movie, and I didn't know much about Studio Ghibli back when I read the book. So I read this book, funny story, a really, really long time ago. I was a mere child, a wee babe, honestly. And I remember being stuck and being sick in this huge mountain lodge cabin in the mountains. There was snow. Everyone went out snow tubing, skiing, having fun essentially. And I stayed back because I was a little bit sick. And so I remember looking at the huge fireplace and finding like this little shelf right beside it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And being the nosy little bitch that I am, I opened it. And to my delight, I found stacks of books. I remember taking all these books out, reading the back, inspecting the covers and all that. And I saw this one book, Howl's Moving Castle. And I was like, ooh, what is this? Castle caught my eye, obviously. And I remember vividly reading that book and finishing it in one sitting. I don't know how I did that or what happened or what escalated, but little Ellias sat his ass down on that couch in front of that fireplace, a little bit sick, in the snow, in the mountain lodge, and finished that book. And it was fucking magical. I can't even tell you the vibes, the just feelings that this book gave me, just reading it there at that place, at that time, at that location. It was just magical. And so after that trip, I think I found out that there was a movie adaptation about it, Studio Ghibli. This wasn't my first Studio Ghibli. I think I watched Spirited Away first. Oh, no, it was Kiki's Delivery Service. And then I found out about Spirited Away, and then I found out Howl's Moving Castle. And let me tell you, the movie was phenomenal. It was vastly different from the book though, because I was expecting a few certain plot points to, be explored, but the movie went a different direction, a different way, and I was still happy about it. I love the movie. It was just so different in its own beautiful way. It was epic. Loved everything about it. The animation, chef's kiss. It still holds up to this day. There was this trend going around where people were using AI to create Studio Ghibli to emulate the same vibe, and if you're one of those people, kindly, fuck you. Why would you? Honestly, my top comfort movies of all time, and I've watched it so many times now. So many times. Howl's amazing. Love Howl. Love Studio Ghibli's Howl. I prefer Studio Ghibli's Howl more than the book version, but that's just because I only read the book once, and I've rewatched the movie countless times. Anyways, that's a little connection as to why I love the movie so much. So, like I said before, I love horror movies, specifically slashers. One of my favorites of all time, Scream. The Scream franchise is epitome of just peak slasher horror. It is so good, so meta, so inventive, so reinventive, reimagining, requel. If you haven't seen 1 through 6, you're not gonna get it. It's just mother of all horror, I think, of all slasher horror. Okay, let's define the genre. I think it is so inventive in the way it presents itself as a slasher film. It definitely changed the trajectory of horror, specifically slasher horror, when the first movie came out, obviously. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's funny. It's not even that scary. It's just gory and fun. And I honestly can't wait for the 7th movie. Yes, there are some really iconic slasher series out there, but Scream is one that is still ongoing to this day, right? I mean, what other slasher horror movies besides Friday the 13th, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, Nightmare on Elm Street? I'm like listing all of them, but like to this day, you know, that has a 7th movie coming out. This year, this is a really good year for slasher. I mean, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer, requel remake coming out pretty soon. This movie called Until Dawn, which is based off an IP, a game that I really like and played. Just a whole bunch of movies coming out. Oh, Final Destination as well. Love Final Destination. But Scream, the first movie, will always be my #1 ride or die. So I'm not a huge sci-fi person in general. I don't really gravitate towards sci-fi movies, but this movie has a chokehold on me. And it was brilliant. So intelligent. I think the first time I watched it, I really questioned my own free will. And this movie is Arrival. This movie with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Brilliant. Human minds came up with this, developed it, created it, acted in it, and just told this brilliant story about, I think, what it means to have free will, if we have free will in the making. It's such a confusing and weird, fascinating movie that just answers a lot of philosophical questions in the most like benign way. I think for me, I prefer Arrival over Interstellar, but also Interstellar is a fantastic movie in my opinion, but I just love Arrival just a smidge more. Please go check it out if you haven't. The score, the atmosphere, the direction, the style, the acting, the story, everything is just so brilliant, so good. Which brings me to my next classic, sci-fi classic, Jurassic Park. Watched this when I was a kid, would reenact the kitchen scene, the car scene with my siblings. I would act as a velociraptor. I would act as Lex or Timmy, you know, crawling on my knees during that kitchen scene, putting my hands and legs underneath the table, pretending it was the glass when the T-Rex would come. Great times. As always, I mean, love the Jurassic Park movies. You know, I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid. Watched like every single documentary there was on TV as well. So, well, my battery's about to die, so you're gonna see a different Elias talking about his other favorites. Okay, so it's been a few days later. Hi. So I kind of forgot where I left off of, but I think it was just movies. I guess we're gonna dive into my other favorites. I was thinking about maybe TV shows, music. So also, I just want to give a little preface by saying that your boy is a little high. I don't know, I just had the most brilliant idea to film while I am still sane and coherent and happy. So the TV shows were like a huge forefront for me when I was growing up as a kid, because I was not allowed to watch any type of television, like at all. We didn't even have cable, we had nothing. Back when I had like this dingy laptop that I could only use sparingly, and it had like so many parental locks on there and everything, but I managed to find like this loophole or whatever and access, you know, the internet. And so this is where my TV show, I guess, exposure began, because I began to watch shows like the entire run of like Smallville. I don't know, that show had so many seasons, so many episodes, but I loved it every single second of it. So there was Smallville. I think I like watched half of all the seasons of One Tree Hill. Like I never finished it, but I did watch like a big chunk of the way through. I remember just like vividly binging so many episodes in one go at a time while I could. The other one was True Blood and The Vampire Diaries. The Vampire Diaries were a huge core memory because that was my first exposure, I guess, to love triangles in general as a teenager. And so, of course, I wish that would happen to me, but never did. So anyways, at this current moment, like my top 3 shows is 1, Sense8. Love that show. I rewatch it pretty much every year. It's perfect. Could have been longer? Yes. Did Netflix have to cancel it? No. So I really love Sensei. I really love the OA. It's so weird, but has like a peaceful, calming energy when I watch it. If you've seen the OA, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. And what else? Dark. This is a German TV show on Netflix, and it is incredible. I've only watched it once. I love that it has a concise beginning and an ending. There was a vision, and back in the day, you could count on Netflix to finish that said picture and everything. And grateful for that, because the show definitely needed an ending, and everything was perfect. The mystery, the strangeness, the timelines of when, where, how, who, it is incredible. Highly, definitely recommend if you're looking for like a really good sci-fi binge. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for like TV shows. I'm so sorry, I'm like pretty boring and basic, but there was only so much I could watch and do back when, just a standard, typical childhood upbringing. Just to give you guys some little lore about why I grew up in such a strict household. If you didn't know, I grew up homeschooled. In a very tight-knit, close family environment. And yeah, I attended boarding school when I was like 13, studying to become a priest, and obviously that didn't happen. Well, it did, and then I got kicked out. I'm just kidding. That never happened. I went to Kansas to a private Catholic college for a year, and that was like my first eye-opening experience of like the outside world, especially as someone who grew up pretty much sheltered most of my like early life. What are other things that we're going to talk about? Oh yeah, music. So I would say music is something I listen to every day without fail. Driving, whatever, working, doing errands and all that. You guys, I'm so sorry, but I'm a pretty basic, boring bitch who likes to listen to top 50s. There are certain genres I like. I like K-pop. Some of my favorite groups that I really like: Blackpink, IVE, 17, ATEEZ, Monsta X, like Somi, Chungha. I feel like I'm pretty up to date on a lot of K-pop stuff, even like with the new groups and everything. I recently really dig dark techno in general. I really love a beat that has a really high BPM, psytrance. I also like progressive house, stutter house especially. Stutter house is great. Top 50s, top 100, Billboard 100, iTunes chart, whatever that whole sentiment is. I'm not the biggest fan of Sabrina Carpenter or Chaperone. That is just to give you a gauge on the type of music that I listen to. Yeah, the songs are great. I mean, I love both of them as artists, but not really into their music as a lot of other people. I mean, nothing comes to mind at the moment. My thoughts are just too convoluted and chaotic right now to think coherently. But what was I gonna say? Stay on track. You were talking about music. Oh, one of the most prominent music groups that I listened to growing up. It's not exactly a music group, but it's the Glee cast. I think on several years, in fact, I would always have the Glee cast on one of my most top listened to artists on my Spotify wrap up. So that was pretty funny. That's also another show I grew up watching consistently and loving almost every episode, I guess. I guess that's pretty much it for music. Aside from music, guys, I don't listen to podcasts. I would occasionally listen to it if my roommate has it on, and I think it's like Trisha Paytas? Yeah, the girl's crazy. As far as like non-fictional stuff, I am not the biggest fan of reality TV, so I don't watch a lot of like Love Island or The Circle and all that. I can never really get into it just because I don't really care about watching a bunch of people sequestered, either finding love or a challenge and all that. I mean, nothing wrong with reality TV. It's just not something I have gone into. Oh, let's talk about accessories and jewelry. I mainly wear a lot of earrings. Fun fact, both ears combined, I used to have I think 13 piercings. They've either like fallen out or taken out and over time grown back, and so I'm just too lazy to go back to a piercer and get it re-pierced again. Honestly, it was a lot of trauma for one ear alone, because I think there were like 9 piercings on one ear within like a span of like 6 to 8 months. That really did a number, especially when I would knock it on like a shirt or something. It would hurt so bad even after it healed. Sleeping, I pretty much never slept on, I think, my left side ever for like a good solid year or so. Like, it was that painful. Take your time with it, kids. Most of my earrings, however, are from Ana Luisa, just because I like how convenient they are with all of their jewelry clasps and everything. They last a while. Aside from that, I really like rings as well. Most of my rings, you guys, I can't even tell you where I got them from, because they're either thrifted, got them at a flea market, or gifted. Honestly, can't recommend. I mean, aside from Ana Luisa, if you like gold, I primarily like silver jewelry at the moment as a preference over like gold or rose gold. Also, sorry to say, but I am so bad at skincare. It is something that I have implemented only recently. I am very basic when it comes to my skincare. I have a cleanser, moisturizer, and I use, oh my gosh, Paula's Choice. I love Paula's Choice recently just because I saw Sean talking about it, but also my roommate recommended it to me because she was like, it's great, it's perfect, sort of like makes your pores smaller or like disappear altogether. And the sunscreen that I use is very basic. It's from Japan. It's like this wet-based sunscreen called Biover? No. I'm gonna post the little sunscreen here. I'm too lazy to get up right now and get it. I mean, yeah. What else am I supposed to talk about? Here it is, and I'm trying to be interesting, relatable, and quirky, but all you're seeing on your end is just an average basic bitch. I don't know, maybe you can relate to that. Also, check out this shirt I just cropped at one of the Renegade fairs. It says, I'm a slut. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see y'all soon with a new video.